We got Derralyn on the microphone right now.
Look around, we need hope. Dark world, we need hope. Dark world, we need hope. We all need hope. Need hope. Need hope. Look around, we need hope. Broke world, we need hope. We all need hope. But tell them it's so for the broken. It's so for the broken.
Yo, what's going on, good people? And welcome back to another episode of Healing Broken Souls, man. Right now, we had to kick out the host, and production had to come on set.
We had Pastor Benny L. Powell Sr. and Pastor John Boyanowski had to get them on up out of here.
Oh, man. And we are your hosts for today. It is Derralyn Morgan, and I'm with my friend
Kyren Monteiro, a.k.a. Yellow Man.
Oh, man, this is our first show together, y'all. We just now getting on the front end of things versus being on the back end. So we definitely happy to be here. So let's get on into this thing, man.
Hold on, we got Derralyn behind the camera. Hit that yellow button. Give the people a round of applause for the Lord Jesus. Give him. There you go. Won't he do it?
Oh, man. All right, man. So today we're going to be talking about how young people transition from their, not from, but like into their faith, you know, from kind of being broken, or let's just say growing up in a broken home. So, I mean, Kyren, what do you think about that, man? Did you necessarily grow up with a broken soul, or how would you say it?
I don't think everybody grew up with a broken soul. I think it's just everybody broken just look different. So I've been a member. I think I'm rare in the sense to say, like, I've been a member of this church my whole life. Yeah. I'm 33, May 10th, 1990. So whatever Sunday fall when I was born, I've been here. And so growing up, but I ain't always act like I grew up in church, and I don't always live like that. But I came up. Dad was a preacher. Grandfather, uncle. Old Pastor Williams was a godfather. And so I just kind of grew up in church. But it was weird because my family was in the streets. So I had aunts, cousins, uncles who was drug dealers. And I had a praying grandma and everything. So it was kind of interesting growing up. I had a man that raised me. My biological father didn't raise me. Yeah. You know, so him and my mom was young when they had me 17, 18 years old. And so, yeah, you know, I kind of just, church was that place that kind of gave that sense of family. And I come from a huge family as well. So, yeah, I would say I grew up in a broken situation, you know, but I would say that church has really helped me, you know, kind of weather some storms.
Okay. So really, with me, I didn't realize I grew up in a broken home till I got older, you know? So it's like, obviously, I'm a child, you know? As a child or a kid, that's as far as my understanding was, you know? So I didn't really know, obviously, everything I know now until I got older, you know, to get that understanding. So obviously, yes, I know I grew up in a broken home. But most people, like, I don't know, I think they just kind of think they grew up in a broken home because of, let's say, that both parents wasn't there. I'm blessed to say that both of my parents was in the home, you know, the whole time, but we necessarily didn't have everything, you know, so that's still where you can have a full, you know, house full of family members, but still feel broken, right? So obviously growing up, you know, and now that we older, it's like, okay, how do we transition from being, you know, broken into obviously grown men and taking on that faith, you know, that we have now. So, I mean, Kyren, what you think when you first came into church, how high was your level of faith?
I mean, so what they call getting saved, I got baptized when I was like 5 or 6. I was fully aware like that, you know, what they say with the gospel message, you know, fallen man, Adam's sin, you know, that break the relationship between you and God, then the need for Jesus to come and bridge that gap. So I was aware that at 5, you know, I knew I was a sinner. I knew I was a little heathen because there was definitely some girls in Sunday school that I was looking at, you know what I'm saying? Like, Jesus, say your boy right now. Like, so, I mean, I feel like I I feel like I knew about the Bible. My dad was a preacher. I got to learn a lot about the Bible at a young age. But just because you know the Bible don't mean you know God.
Yeah.
So I feel like I knew a lot about the Bible, doing Christian rap and all of that, but I don't feel like I really knew God. And I feel like God had to like humble me because I was being a hypocrite.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
as you were still young though, right?
I mean,
what are you saying now?
I feel like in my fresh out of high school, early 20s, I went through a real rebellious stage. So my pops passed away when I was like 18 from cancer. And I feel like 5 to 10 years I just carried around just unspeakable anger.
Yeah.
That really could have landed me in prison. It's only by the grace of God that I ain't in prison right now.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I had to go through some things. And honestly, 2019, sitting down with Pastor Powell is when a lot of that stuff started breaking for real. So I feel like I went through my whole 20s, I feel like I just was angry.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
But so for me, my mom and dad, we went to church, right? So like I was already exposed to God, all right? So I mean, we knew we had to go to church, you know, and it wasn't a church as big as like today or what we in today. It was a Baptist church. I want to say about 50 people max. You know, it was a very small building. But I knew like Jesus was real. You know, my parents took us to church, you know. Now, did that keep going? You know, no, sometimes we kind of fell off. You know, as I got older, it was like, no, I'm not going to church, you know. Obviously, it's like I'm trying to figure out me now. So, I mean, just from that point to like growing older to like the age of 18, I think experiences kind of just shaped me into knowing like, okay, God gotta be real, you know, or there has to be, you know, a Jesus, you know, because obviously what I was going through, I'm like, man, ain't no way I'm, you know, experiencing this at this age, you know, and it wasn't nothing really too dire or anything. It was just like, you know, normal things that obviously young adults, young, you know, teenagers don't go through, you know, at that age. So I think just learning to embrace my faith and then actually understand it, you know, pushed me to be like a better person today. You know, I got a better understanding of what faith is, you know, and how to actually use it to the best of my abilities. So, I mean, just talking like that, I would say that most people our age, the younger generation, they probably don't come into church or want to come, you know, for that simple fact of them not knowing, you know, or not understanding, you know, what the power of faith could really do for us.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like our generation, everything is off emotion.
Yeah.
Like, we blame God for emotional stuff. I mean, it's like, first, like, the Bible say faith is the evidence of things hoped for. No, it's the substance of things hoped for, evidence of things not seen. So it's like, when it come to faith, a lot of it is stuff you can't see in front of you. You gotta walk it out. You know what I mean? You gotta go through that journey to get to the evidence of it. And I just feel like a lot of people, it's an emotional standpoint. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I think most definitely too emotional, because one thing that prevents, you know, our generation from coming into church is our own emotions. You know, we want to be mad and we don't want to open ourselves to understanding, you know, who God is and what he can do for us, you know. So that's why we sit here today, you know, as examples, you know, for, you know, more youth and more people around our age to like let them know, hey, God is real and this is what he can do for you, you know, so long as you trust him, you know. And speaking back to that faith, you know, obviously we had to grow in our faith, right? We started at a point where we had to learn about it. And then we had to, you know, do some self-evaluating, self-reflecting, and see like where we are at, you know, with it. And then obviously, you know, day by day as we grow, you know, we grow in our faith. So I just think that's something key, you know, just for the younger generation to try to, you know, just get closer to, because we know, you know, without God is nothing's possible, you know.
I think too, something that I don't know about you, because I mean, I know you impact the city and the community in a whole nother lane and a different circle than what I'm in. And I know you got a big impact. One thing I hear a lot is people talking about, like, how can God be good when the world is so evil? How can a loving God allow racism, murder?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Drug overdoses with poverty, all of this type of stuff. But it's like when you look in the Bible, like God's standard is perfection.
Yeah.
So evil is anything not of God. So it's like you ask the question, well, if you want God to eliminate evil, that means your thoughts.
Yeah.
That means he got to eliminate all of us then. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Right.
like I would rather take the grace. So once again, I just think our generation is just emotional. And so even with you, like I seen you come in, like last episode, how you was talking about you came in 2018 wanting to be here. I've seen growth in you. I didn't see you go. You done been through some stuff in these last few years.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And
me and Kyren even was about to duke it out in here.
Mike Tyson.
Hey, look, that show y'all how far, like, you know, we came in our faith. You know, we was running off emotions, you know, one day, you know, and actually brought it, you know, to the house of God, which is a big no-no, you know. So obviously, without experiencing that, you know, or obviously like going through that, we wouldn't have had no like knowledge of, hey, this is unacceptable, you know, at least at church.
And we sitting here, but let me quote Pastor Powell. Don't come up in here and smack me. You come up here in greater second and throw something. It's going to look like fight night. Don't come up in greater second. We got some men that are sing. Never mind. Let me stop.
Well, obviously, y'all can see how our faith has grown exponentially now. So, I mean,
round of applause for all the men. Round of applause for all the men. No, but I mean, honestly, man, like I'm still trying to grow now. You know, we running business and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, at times I'm slacking at home. My character ain't right. I'm having to look at my daughter, future kids, whatever. Just like, you know,
yeah,
trying to create generational wealth. It's a lot of things. I feel like our generation is trying to undo a lot of trauma that our parents and people before may not have necessarily dealt with.
Yeah,
and just kind of swept it under the rug. I feel like our generation want answers. We want to know everything.
Yeah.
Why is the sky blue?
Yeah.
Why do crickets crawl? We want to know. Like we need to know everything.
Yeah,
you know?
And that just come with, you know, just the different generations, right? So obviously, back in the day, you know, the older generation was like taught differently. So you know, we already know that, you know, each generation experienced different upbringings, you know, and obviously just growing up two totally different like ways, you know. So I mean, through it all, you know, we still have to learn to keep our faith high, you know, and to keep trusting God, you know, because at the end of the day, to get that understanding, you know, you have to come to church. You know, you got to surround yourself with good people like Kyren. You know, you got to come and fellowship, you know, with your community, you know, to kind of know, you know, that obviously all those things, you know, really isn't true. You know, you don't have to, think.
But let me say this: how you walked in Pastor's office,
yeah,
you initiated it.
Yeah.
When Pastor first came here, I want to make sure it's people that sit back and don't do nothing and then blame the church for not pouring into them.
Yeah.
You can't get in the car and not start it up and say my car don't work. That's your fault. Start it up. You know what I'm saying? So you have to, if you want to plug into a body, you got to put in the effort to stay consistent, just like anything else. So I think people want to sit in church and want the church to do everything for them, but you got to put in work for the church to work for you.
Yeah. But see, most of our generation, that's like one big thing that's holding them, you know, like from not coming in here, you know, just talking
about what everybody want to hand out.
Well, no, more so just like man, we didn't spoke a lot here.
Speak it.
Basically, like, you know, for me now, you know, I can just say this, you know, I had to grow in my faith. Right. So like obviously how I was thinking last year or the year before that, I don't think like that right now. You know, so I really can't say, you know, like anything because tomorrow, you know, you never know what tomorrow may bring. So I think we got a question over here.
Okay, so my question for you is, what is this generation's biggest struggle for their faith?
Can you ask that question again? I'm sorry.
What is this generation's biggest struggle with faith or for their faith?
Man, that's a big question. From what I've talked to a lot of people, a lot of guys, I'm gonna just speak to a lot of young men I've talked to. They say that the life that the church preaches, that they don't see it line up. So hypocrisy, if you want to say. And so when I talk to a lot of people, and I've even been a part of that, well, if you love God, then why are you living like this? You know, so I feel like the lifestyle not matching up, but I feel like hypocrisy is everywhere. You know, let's say if you in the streets, you're supposed to be a thug, and then y'all softer than tissue. So why you hanging around them? You know, but I just think it's an excuse, you know. But I think the lifestyle not matching up is the biggest thing I've heard my generation say. Either that, or they say that the church has just sucked money out of people and not contributed back to society.
Yeah,
I've heard all kind of stuff. You know,
I think it's definitely. I heard the exact same thing, but it goes back to like being that example, you know, and like just warrior for God. They don't know because they don't know, you know, they don't know because they haven't been taught, you know. Had I not been taught about the ways of God and living right, not only from pastor, because obviously when I first moved up here, my grandma was telling me, you know, about Jesus, you know, and just things that I didn't know. But had she not did that, I would still be in that same, you know, past mindset of, yeah, the church doesn't do nothing. They just take money over. Okay, how about actually getting in the church and seeing if it's really like that? You know, I've never like just took what someone said about something and just ran with it. You know, I think that comes down to like the different type of people we have in this world too. You know, if the sky is blue, I'm gonna go outside to go check it myself, you know, and I'm just not gonna go off of what someone else says, you know. So just the simple fact of someone telling me God isn't real, I'm not buying that. I gotta either go see it for myself, you know, or live it for myself. So I think a problem with most of our generation is just not wanting to learn, you know, because had you got the information that you needed, you're going to think about it a whole different way, you know. So now knowing that God can do something for you, you're going to come to the church and see, you know, what that possibly can turn out to.
So here's another question. You know, I hear your generation say that it's not my truth. Okay, it's not what I believe. You know, how do you respond to that?
But that's tough though, because if you say you live by your truth, I live by my truth. What if my truth cancel yours out? So if everybody got their own truth, what is truth then? There's nothing to stand on. So I mean, everybody say that the Bible ain't accurate, but look at all the prophecies, look at everything that's been fulfilled, look at how it line up. It's everybody got their own idea of what God is. So I just think all you could do is just plant a seed and move on. You can't beat Jesus down somebody's throat.
So Derralyn, do you think that we're trying to make God come down to our level?
No, I think it's the opposite. Well, yes, I think that our generation is trying to dumb down God to our own level of understanding, when it's like, no, it's the exact opposite of that. You know, we have to grow in that faith to get to like his level of understanding, right? We can't just like not think that or just take like surface level information, right? So if I just ran off with God is real, pray to God every night, that's not going to like guarantee me into like the afterlife. You know, that's just not enough for me to be like, okay, cool, I'm sold. So, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily like the truth thing. I just think that people don't want to deal with the truth when the truth is, you know, God is real. And so long as you accept him, you know, and try your best, you know, we not perfect. You know, I'm not perfect. But now I can say that I'm trying my best to reflect in his image, you know. So it's like I wouldn't even, I just think people definitely, our generation definitely try to just bring it to a understanding to where we only understand and not really try to dig deep into it.
2-point question. First of all, do you think that your generation is focusing on more religion or more relationship with God? And then the second part is, how does your generation and our generation come together and work together?
Okay, so really, to the first part, I would say our generation is definitely, it's kind of hard because, like, for me, right, first, it was religion. It was about, okay, cool, Baptist, Christianity, all that. I'm like, okay, if I'm a Christian, then I got to live like this, right? And then it turned into, obviously, me growing in my faith. I'm understanding now it's all about my relationship with him. So, I mean, if, I don't know, like, I don't know what the next kid my age is being taught, in his home or, wherever he's like living at. I don't know the conversations that's, being taken place with them, but I know if they like come talk to me, I'm gonna tell them it's about their relationship with God. I think it's not even like with religion. I think religion is like a man-made thing. I think everything is supposed to be spiritual, so once we have a spiritual understanding of God, we don't even look at it as religion because we already developed that relationship.
Kyren, what did your viewpoint?
I was just listening to Derralyn out there. I think that our generation is focusing a lot on relationship, but I think people don't want to be slaved or quote unquote slave to the Christian way. I think that people have a problem with Christianity because Christianity is the only religion that you say Christ is the only way versus the whole thing, live my truth. That's the biggest problem that people got with Christianity. It's like, I want Jesus as, I'm cool with Savior, but not Lord. Like, yeah, let me go to heaven, but don't tell me that this is the only way. So I think we focus on relationship. I think we just defining what that is. My opinion. Close it up. This is another episode of the Healing Broken Souls podcast. I'm Kyren Monteiro.
And this is Derralyn Morgan, and we'll see y'all on the next run.
Thank you.
Peace.